Hello, hello! Certainly has been a while, hasn't it? I say that, but usually I stream for like 5 days in a row, then I take like a two-day break. That's usually what's happening. Yeah, something like that. Usually I take like 1 or 2 day off the week to not stream. Every day I pretty much stream though. I say that, but the stream is gonna be... I'm like phoning it in. It's like almost... It's like late. Yeah, it's late. I'm only gonna do this for like an hour and then I'm gonna leave. It feels like I'm just like... It's like logging into like any game for it's like dailies or something. You just kind of log in for like 5 minutes and then you're done. That's kind of like what's happening right here. But... I kind of wanted to start earlier, I don't know. I literally could not start earlier. Anyway, where does the time go? Today is December 8th, also known as the 8th day of the 12th month, or 12/8/2021. Man, wait until we get to 2022, and then, yeah, wait until we get to 2022, then that third number that I say, instead of 2021, ooh, it's gotta change. Yeah, like I said, we're only gonna stream for an hour, and we're just gonna chill and hang out, playing Tetris. I say hang out, but... Hey, hang out, you guys wanna hang out? Okay, let's turn off that jazz music real quick. And then turn on the game audio, and make sure everything's good. And there we go. Getting, I wanna say, better at changing and transitioning between scenes and audio things. Oh man. Didn't anybody else just yawn a lot for absolutely no reason? Like, I'm not even tired. Or like, yeah, I'm not even tired yet. Somehow, I'm just yawning a lot. It's weird. Also, holy moly, right off the bat, I'm targeted by like 60 billion people. What is this? There we go. Yeah, this just started like attacking like right off the bat because, again, I'm being targeted by like a billion people for no reason. I don't... What is this? Anyway, other than that, I hope everybody has been doing fine. You know, just like the general stuff you say when you haven't like streamed in a while. It's like that friend that you haven't seen in like 6 years. Well, I say 6 years, but like for a couple days, you just ask like, oh, how are the kids? How's the wife? Anything new in your life? You just generally ask stuff like that, and even though it's a bit monotonous, it's nice. You ask because you care. But then you also like ask because it's like something to talk about. It's like an icebreaker, so to speak. Oh wait, there you go. Now I can T-spin. I forgot you have to have a wall before you can T-spin, don't you? That may not have been the greatest idea to T-spin like that, but it was fun. It was cool. I felt cool doing it. There we go. There we go. Man, I feel so much faster on the Switch than the PC. I don't know if that's because of like finessing or whatever, but actually it probably is because of like the finesse, you know? Ah, shoot. Like, I recently learned a new, Tetris term about finessing. Well, it is called finessing. It's like using the minimum amount of button presses to get where the pieces you want to be are, you know? Like, try to be efficient with your button presses. Like, right there, I pressed, like, rotate like 3 times, when I could have easily like rotated the other way. To fill in the hole, you know? Like that's finessing. I don't know if I'm making sense with this. It's like, be efficient with the amount of button presses you're doing. Like, the least amount of button presses you can press to get your pieces where you want them to go. Now that's finesse, apparently. Yeah, that makes more sense. If you put it like that, I guess. Ooh, ooh. As you can see, I feel like it always happens when I start to stream. When I play Tetris, at least, I have to, like, I slowly get a bit better. Like a warm-up, so to speak, like a warm-up period. But, ooh, once I get going, just watch me. Just watch me. Same thing with commentary. I also feel like I have to, like, warm up, so to speak. Is it weird that you have to warm up to do commentary? It's like waking up and then you see like your friend or yeah, if you see your friend in like the living room after they had like a night over, you don't just like wake up and start talking, do you? You just kind of sit there and then look at each other for a second, and then you're both wondering what to do. Exactly what's happening right now. Imagine you just woke up and then we saw each other in the living room, and even though we very like each other as friends, just because we woke up, it's a bit awkward because there's that moment in which we don't want to say anything to each other. That's what's happening right now. I myself don't want to say anything to you. Oh shoot, it's in the wrong order. Oh well. Yeah, I could have T-spun there. Well, not really. I started to set it up, but you may be asking if it's a T-shaped hole, why couldn't you just T-spun there? And I'll answer with, because, there's no wall to actually T-spin off of, you know? Like, if you know how the engine of Tetris works, you know that you can't T-spin unless you set it up in, like, unless you have, like, a wall to, spin off of, so to speak. It's kind of complicated if you don't have like a diagram, so I'm not going to try to explain it because I would sound like an utter fool. But just know that I could have T-spun there. Oh my god, oh my god, what am I doing? I need to wake up! Wake up! It's like that meme with the guy saying, wake up! Wake up! That's what I need to do. Like, I definitely could have won that. Those people, I don't know if they were the greatest, but they definitely weren't better than me. Is that cocky? Yeah, it's definitely cocky, and you know what? It's because they're garbage. They're absolute garbage. Okay, look at this. Look at how many people are just like gaining up on me already. What is this? Is this like target me day? Is this, people just know what's happening? Is it stream snipers? I hate that term so much, stream snipers. It's so like, it's kind of like a cry for attention, stream snipers. Like both the people doing it and reacting to it. Because like imagine that all you do is just like wait until your person that's streaming starts to play. That's when you play. Like why can't you just play the game yourself? Why do you have to like bother other people when you play games? I mean, I know that's like the definition of like trolling, right? Is to like bother people. Yeah, I can do that. Okay. Put that there, T-spin. There you go. I tend to stop talking whenever I have to actually focus up, I think. I definitely should not do that. But look at this. How can anybody like see this and not focus up for a second? There we go. Like, you see how masterful that was? How I just lived that? Or this? Or this? Like, how do you not be impressed with that? Coming from, like, near brink of death without even panicking. That's the most important part. Like, the fact that I didn't panic. Because you know when I'm panicking, I start, like, saying random gibberish and stuff. That's how you know it's really going downhill. Okay, there. Oh, darn me and my T-spinning ways. I say that, but I just did it. There we go. What were we just talking about? I feel like we were just talking about... Oh yeah, we were talking about, bloody... what are they called? Stream snipers. And the concept of trolling. Ah, shoot. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That turned into... That try didn't matter. All I'm gonna say is... trolling is one thing, but stream sniping is another, right? Like, when you troll, at least it's, like, in the moment, and, like, the more effort you put in, the more impressive it is when you troll, I think. If it's, like, a lazy troll, like, calling someone, like, dumb or fat over and over again, like the annoying type, that's not fun to watch. You're not fun to watch. That troll isn't fun. Is it weird that there are, like, different kinds of good trolling and bad trolling? The good trolling is the type that's, like, you get the person mad, but it's also fun to watch, so you don't really care what's happening to the guy getting mad. But then the bad trolling is, like, yeah, you're making the guy mad, but it's not really funny, so why are you doing this? Like, it's not funny to anybody, really. There. Okay. Yeah. That's the thing. I think everybody can relate to this. Like, no matter how small it is, you did enjoy a bit of a troll, right? No matter how minor, you've enjoyed trolling. And that doesn't make you like a bully or whatever, or like, I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't make you like a bully or a mean person. Just sometimes it's fun to troll someone. It doesn't have to be serious either. It could just be like, haha. You go onto a TTT server on Gary's mod, and then you just kind of make fun of him. Also, I believe I just messed up there. I believe I messed up there too. I believe I messed up there too. But you know, it's fine. Because we're just, getting attacked by like a billion people. And that's okay, because we want people to attack us, I believe. Okay, not like that though. Not like that though. You ever feel like you're just kind of coasting by? Like, stuff happens and you're not invested because you're not immersed, so to speak? That's what's happening right now. I'm just kind of like passively playing this game. Yeah, that's what I mean by chill stream. Usually when I say chill stream, it's not like about the game that matters. Because if it's not a chill stream, I usually like react more to the game and like I start like, you know, doing my shenanigans where I like yell and be caught like, yeah, I like yell and I'm like screaming. Well, I say screaming, but it's more like I react to the game heavily because I'm actually invested. And then I start doing like goofy antics and then it's all good joy. But nah, chill stream, we just kind of like, we talk about random topics that I have in mind. Ah, shoot. I say that, but sometimes I just sit here playing in silence. Which is kind of dumb if you ask me. Because it's... I don't know. I feel like, streaming also helps the ability to talk while playing a game, right? Or doing anything while playing a game, really. Because I was talking about this the other day with one of my friends. Won't name who. Oh, okay, we'll talk about that later. I was gonna bring up a point about how it's weird that you have to keep people anonymous because it's like live television or whatever. You have to treat it like live television. But we'll talk about that later in a bit. Yeah, I was talking about the fact that when you stream, or yeah, no, my friend was talking about the fact that when you stream, you like get good at multitasking. And he was like impressed about how I could even like hold a decent conversation while playing a game, like just constantly talking. And I at first I was a little confused, because I have to say, a bit weird to be impressed by that, because I don't know, it's just, it seems like one of those things you don't practice. It's like either you're good at it or you don't. Talking, you know, the gift of the gab. But I guess you could practice literally like any skill known to man. Like that's what I've come to realize. Like singing, I used to think of sing when you sing, you know. You used to just be like you're good at it or oh shoot, oh, there we go. Like you're either good at it or you're not. I used to think like that. Like when I was a young lad, so to speak. But no, you can practice how to sing, you know, like quite well as well. Like you don't have to be good at singing right off the bat. Like it actually takes like some people are like slightly better than others, but most of the time you'll find that people who are actually good at singing practice like a lot, and that the people who are like famous, like pop singers, so to speak, even though they don't have like the greatest vocals, they still practice a lot, and then they like eventually make it their own style when they sing. Ah, shoot. There we go. That was a very roundabout way to do a T-spin, I think. Like that, like this right here, that was a roundabout way to do a T-spin as well. Yeah. I don't know, like you ever... It's like it's like that saying where like it looks easy, but it's like hard to master. I used to think about that when it comes to like streaming and stuff. Not so much so where it's like, oh, anybody could stream, anybody could do that or do this. Just a bit like, oh, it doesn't look too hard to do. It feels like it's like something I could do if given like, I don't know, just like a bit of time. Like streaming felt like one of those kind of practices, like something that you could do if just given like a bit of time. Like you don't have to practice at all, and like besides how would you practice it? Like streaming, you just talk to yourself in the mirror, you talk to yourself when nobody's around. Like do you entertain yourself to make for a more entertaining stream? Ah shoot. Oh no. I should have downstacked earlier, but whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'm still getting used to like the whole concept of whether or not streaming is whether or not I'm actually doing like if this is entertaining or not, right? Because that's the thing that everybody is worried about, whether or not the content they make is actually entertaining to people, I believe. Like, because you get those people saying like, oh, I do the content, I make videos because I want to make videos, because it's because I appreciate it's fun making videos. I mean, yeah, that's one thing, but there's also like the borderline of like, well, if nobody's watching what you're making, then why you're releasing it to the public and stuff, you know? That's where like worries and like fear starts to set in where it's like, how do I put this? Yeah, that's where like the fear of whether or not what you're doing is actually good starts to come in, right? And that goes for like anything, like from cooking to academic work to literally anything. It's the fear of whether or not what you're doing actually makes like good sense to people. Like whether or not it's worth it. You're like, oh, do people actually like what I'm doing? And just because you like, people say they like doing what they do for fun, right? But eventually you're gonna have to stop. Or not stop it. Eventually you're gonna have to look at yourself and realize, well, if nobody's watching this, then why am I doing this? Like, what's the point? Like, yeah, I like doing it, but also getting views is nice. Or like literally anybody watching my stuff is nice. Unless you already have like your audience. That's what they tell you to do, is to find your audience. Which I kinda hate. Because why should I find my audience? They can find me! Nah, that's just a bunch of baloney, isn't it? That's another problem that I have while streaming, right? It's like while I stream, I tend to pause if I'm talking a lot when I'm like talking like for real about something. There are two things I do, is that I pause while talking and I use a lot of like a lot of words that don't mean much. For example, I say it's like this or like it's like that a lot, you know? Just so I could give myself time to like think, like I just did it again. Not on purpose, mind you, it was just pure gut reactionary. Habits, I guess? It's one of those things where you, like, you know, public speaking? They tell you not to, like, fall into certain, like, patterns of talking, right? Well, I've also been trying to do that. When I'm talking, I try to not pause or say certain things. But then, like, the worry of whether or not what you're saying come across people's head as well, which is why I pause a lot. It isn't because I'm like nervous or anything. It's because I have to actually think about whether or not what I'm saying makes sense. Ah, shoot. It's probably like a common thing that happens between people, like not knowing what to say and then making sure that what you have to say makes sense and all that stuff. But like that's where the hidden skill of streaming comes in, so to speak, like public speaking. You have to know how to talk to people, or not to people, but like it's a speech. It's like a speech. Like if I were to watch myself stream and I had to give myself like notes, because they tell you to do that, right? When you're like start out the stream, they're like, oh, you should watch yourself stream and to make sure it's okay, and then look at your own speech pattern and then fix yourself and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that totally makes sense. You should always strive to be better in every sense of the word. Or the notion, or whatever. Like, you should always strive to be better is what I'm saying. Just in general. Shoot, man. Oh no, I believe that misdrop just killed me, didn't it? Unless... Oh, okay. Well, that was lucky, I guess. There's no way I could have planned for that. That was like... It's totally luck-based. But you know what to say. I am the luckiest man alive. Did you know that? Did you know that? I'm the luckiest man alive. I bet you didn't know that. Phew. Oh man. It's just random sneeze, I guess. It's weird. Every time you sneeze, you expect a reason to be sneezing. Or at least that's how I feel. It's just down stack, man. Yeah, that's the play right now. We just gotta down stack. Okay, or not. That was like what, 4 pieces away from getting another square piece, and then I could have opened the hole and then down stack because I didn't get Tetris for like 7 pieces yet. Or a line piece, I mean, in like the whole bag. Anyway. Yeah, you ever just like watch yourself speak, and then later on you want to change the way you speak, so it's more eligible. Well, I say eligible, but that pertains to writing. So it's more recognizable. It's easier on the ears to listen to. Because I've noticed like a couple of things. Like me, for example, I've noticed again with the whole like pausing and stammering and stuff, trying to figure out what to say. I go like, I take an actual pause when I talk, and I go, You ever do that? Like, that's the first thing they tell you not to do in public speaking, is to go, because it makes you sound nervous or something. In reality, I'm not nervous. It's more just me literally trying to figure out what to say. And it's harder to, avoid that. I think that's the hardest thing to avoid while doing anything pertaining to Twitch. Well, anything live is what I'm getting at. Anything live, trying to figure out what to say is the hardest part, isn't it? Anybody can spout off some like random word mumbo jumbo that doesn't really matter. Like I could talk about a man who lived in a shoe. His name was Nantucket, and he like grew like mushrooms for a living or something, and he was like a pixie elf or something. I can make up like any story right on the spot, and it's generally acceptable because I've been told that my random stories are quite funny. Like the boundless imagination I have. Although I suck. Although I suck. What is this? What is this? Okay. Alright, no, we're fine. Just do a quick T-spin and we're good. Okay. Yeah, I had to stop talking there to actually focus up on the ante that has been presented within me, or in front of me. What are we talking about? Right, we were talking about like how I can make up literally any topic whatsoever, or any story, so to speak, and then carry that on. I could do that. talk about literally a man who lived in a shoe and a pineapple and the sea or whatever. Like, it's very easy to come up with nonsensical things, like, right off the cuff. But to talk about actual topics, by yourself, by the way, that's the hardest part. Because if you have somebody else, you can bounce off their ideas. But if you have to talk about things by yourself, like, that's the kicker, I think. Maybe that's why, like, YouTube is, like, harder. Cause, like, you have to, like, edit, and then you have to do this, and then you have to do that. Yeah, you have to, like, edit, and then you have to, like, make sure you have, like, good content. You have to make sure what you're watching is actually good. Cause it's like you record yourself, and then you have, like, a batch, so to speak. And then you harvest that batch, and then you have to make sure that batch turns out well, because if it doesn't, then there's no point to, like, refine it. Sometimes it's like the batch isn't enough, so you, oh man. Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes the batch isn't enough, so you have to, like, make multiple batches, and then kind of, like, sew them together, even though they're, like... What a weird metaphor. Well, what I'm saying is, like, you record, like, an 8-hour video, and then you refine it, and it takes, like, years to edit. I say years, because compared to, like, the social media speed, it takes a while. It'll probably take someone, like, a day or two to actually edit, but that's quite a while, so I've been told. In, the hierarchy that is social media. So you do that, and then you upload it, and you hope it's good or bad. And obviously, the way you edit the video could affect it, and you have to do a thumbnail on this, and you have to do that, and then it's generally more annoying. And even then, you probably won't get popular because a million other people are doing it. So unless you have an original idea, that's the aim, to be popular, isn't it? To get trending. Yeah, that's the aim for anybody, really. Even the people who are like, oh, I only do this because I like to stream, or I like to do YouTube videos, it's fun. It all goes back to, like, well, yeah, but if nobody's watching you, then why are you doing this? Because you could have fun doing what you want to do, right? But in the end, if nobody's watching what you do, it's like a bartender without any customers, or a chef without any mouths to feed. Like, yeah, you like cooking, or you like doing this and that, but again, there's nobody there to cater to, so what's the point? And then that satisfaction of doing what you're trained to do, so to speak, and actually, like, actually serving someone it's satisfying, you know? Even if it's not, like, technical term of, like, oh, I'm serving you, so to speak. It's nice to do something and then get a reaction from people, no matter what it is. That's why they say there's no, like, bad publicity or whatever. It's because of stuff like that. It's nice to get any kind of reaction from people, because that means it's like you matter. It almost feels like a message that says, like, you mattered for this one instance. You changed someone on this perspective, or you changed someone on that. Maybe it's just a desperate cry for, like, attention. Man, that is depressing. If it's like that, at least. What a sad way to put things. Yeah. Right now I'm just cruising on T-spins, I guess. So sometimes I can just T-spin back to back to back to back to back. I don't really know how or why, but if the opportunity presents itself, then I'll do it. Also feels bad when you T-spin and you didn't get anything because you didn't realize you were bad. Let's see. Okay, yes. Set up for another T-spin. Let's just do the T-spin. I don't want me to end it around too much. For a second to think of. Yeah, now it's just quieting down because these T-spins actually take a lot out of me. I joke around how easy it is to do the T-spin, but generally, I actually have to think like a little bit, just a little bit, and that's enough to not get me talking anymore for these T-spins. And that's boring. I think it's boring. I don't know about you guys, but I generally, I actually like talking while playing video games now. Funnily enough. You ever have like your friend watch you play a game? Yeah, you ever have like a friend watch you play a game? And then you feel like you're put on the spot somewhat? Because you're expecting to be like funny to them? Well, sometimes I do that. Try to be funny. And a lot of time it works, and I'm like, ooh, nice, they're laughing. Because nobody wants to watch someone play a game just for the game, right? Or do they? Unless it's a specific instance of like game review-ism. It's like back in the day when your mom was like, whoa, what are you watching? And then you answered, oh, it's just somebody else playing this game. And then she's like, why don't you play the game? And then you're like, no, this is different. I want to watch them play the game this time. And it's just, it's like watching someone play sports and you're like, you can just play the sport, you know? Go outside. And then the sport fan goes like, no, but this is different. Same exact argument, isn't it? Shoot, I was too busy changing targets. Oh well. Yeah, I was absolutely getting destroyed by that one guy sending billion lines. Probably because it auto-targeted him. Like everybody just auto-targeted him. That's besides the point. Like, you could grow used to a certain way of playing the game. And like, you derive enjoyment from that specific aspect. Right now, I'm really enjoying the fact that I could just talk while playing a game, and it doesn't matter like who's watching. I get, yeah, that's the thing. I enjoy streaming, not because of yeah, I enjoy the act of streaming itself, is what I'm saying, which is always nice. But again, it all pertains to that fact that if nobody's watching, then why am I doing this? I could just talk to myself in my room, just by myself like a madman. At least acknowledge the fact that everybody wants to be popular, though, right? That's the thing. Some people never acknowledge the fact they want to just be popular. And although I feel like being popular would be nice because of all the benefits that come with being, like, I don't know, a content creator, so to speak. Also, holy moly, I'm sitting on billion lines a second, people. I am messing up badly, however. But that's fine, because I just push these heathens back a bit. I set up for a T-spin, I have no TPs. Well, I did have a TPs. But I decided to squander it. I think I lose here. Ooh. Maybe not, though. Ooh, yeah, no, I'm dead. Fair enough. Yeah. A, everybody wants to be popular. B, streaming it is fun. That's what I'm saying. Right now, I'm doing it because it's fun. It's like a daily commitment thing as well, you know? I think everybody needs some kind of like daily commitment thing that they do. Like, no matter how small it is. Like, you make your bed, you eat breakfast, you take a shower. Some people don't even do any of those things. Any of the days. So you need something to like ground you into reality, like a routine thing, no matter how small it is. And if you don't like the idea of doing a routine thing, then it's gonna be a bit harder for you to do literally anything. Because the thing about people is that we like to fall into routines, don't we? It's like in our nature to fall into a routine eventually. And while you like, that's another thing. While we may like to fall into routines, like, eventually, we also like to shake up the routine if we feel like if we do the routine too many times. So for a year or two, you could just be doing the same thing, but eventually, you want to change. No matter how insignificant it is, you want to stop doing what you're doing. Unless you genuinely like what you're doing. As part of the routine, you know? It's like how the man of a really famous company would just like quit his job sometimes and then shock the whole world and be like, you're quitting your job? Why? You literally earn like $5 billion a day doing absolutely nothing. Why would you dare change out of this job? And then he goes like, well, maybe it's because I don't enjoy it. You think I like sitting there every day in a dead-end office, doing nothing, for hours on end, wasting my life away, for what? Monetary value? Although I think it would be different if you got paid like $1 million every day, wouldn't it? Because some people do that for way less. Did a dead-end job for way less. Figure that out. It's almost as if they have like people to feed or bills to take care of, and then they're like forced into it or something. Not literally forced into it, but like socially forced into it. Because if they don't do it, then he's gotta let people he cares about down. It ain't that weird. It's like taking your friends and family hostage. All because you don't have money. That's like the social contract that you make. Like, it's not an actual contract. You don't sign your life away. You don't sell your soul. But people often say you do. Because you just enter the machine. The way how things work. Like, you want kids. Kids are expensive. You want a house. You want somewhere to live. You want food to eat. That's expensive. Of course everybody's dream is to not work, right? Like, no matter who you are, your dream is to not work. Yeah, you just want the people around you, yourself included, your friends, family, you just want them to, like, do what they want without having to sell their soul and enter the machine and, like, be dead inside. Oh, I guess I should reiterate that. Well, everybody doesn't want to work at some point. People want something to do, right? That's the thing. Some people are like, well, if I'm not working, then what am I doing? People genuinely want something to do. And it's weird, because if you had a choice between not working and working, of course you would take not working. It's just so you can work on something that you want to work on. Like art, for example, or chefry, or maybe you're just passionate about like plumbing. Maybe you always wanted to be a plumber, find out how pipes work, And don't make fun of plumbers, okay? We talk about how like plumbers are like, or janitors, or I don't know. You ever think about like some jobs where that people are like, oh, you don't want to end up like that, and meanwhile it's actually like quite nice. Yeah. Like a janitors actually make quite a bit of money compared to like slave wages or whatever they call them. Because you have to work with like chemicals and stuff, and you know, it's not just like, oh, I mop the floors at the end. You have to like buffer that floor, and you have to like spend time overnight, and then like it's a job that nobody wants to do, because it's like, why would you want to become a janitor? And because of that, I feel like they get paid more. Because if nobody wants to do the job, then obviously they're gonna need, like, every place needs a janitor as well, right? That's the thing. Every place gets dirty, so therefore you need someone to clean the rooms. Oh, shoot. Yeah, like, a janitor is one of those, it's underappreciated. Underappreciated. Janitors. Because they just clean up without questions. Like, that's literally the job. And I think the inherent act of cleaning up after someone, it's like being a butler. Like, people treat you like a butler. Because it's like, oh, you have to clean up after me. That's pretty much what a butler does. Except, do you know how much a butler makes? Butlers make a lot of money. Well, depending on the butler, but most of the time they make a lot of money. Like, personal butler. You realize that when we talk about butlers, we're talking about personal butlers, right? And that's in the name, personal. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, I didn't mean to put that there. Oh, well. We can fix this. It's not too bad. Ah, shoot. Okay, maybe it was a little bad. Maybe it did go a little awry, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, back to the point. I think people should appreciate people who are like working in those type of jobs more. Like janitors, they don't deserve hate. And I don't mean like discrimination where it's like, hi, you're a janitor. I'm gonna throw this soda cup to the ground and be a bully. No, I'm talking about the fact that it's people going, you don't want to end up like a janitor, because you won't get paid a lot. Except they do. Well, I guess it also depends, like, who you work for. Because if it's a school, you're not gonna get paid a lot. But if it's like a company, you generally do get paid quite a bit, like company wages. It's all about who you work for, I guess. But I feel like that could go for most jobs. It's all about who you work for, like that kind of thing. Like, of course it all depends on who you work for, right? I don't know. What I do know is that I'm absolutely destroying these kiddos at Tetris. We'll talk about the aspect of a slave wage worker and whether or not they deserve more praise or hate. Or something like that. I don't really know what I was talking about there. And that's not me trying to cover up my tracks and be like, oh, he said something controversial. It's time to backtrack a bit to make sure nobody hates me. Nah, that's not what I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is, raising the people's morale. I'm having a civil discussion as to whether or not janitors deserve to be treated with more respect. Okay, that's the thing. That's where I was getting at. I was backtracking actually, but I was just fake backtracking, not because I take back what I said, but because I genuinely forgot what I was talking about. You know, that kind of backtracking, right? And what I'm saying is that people deserve more respect, no matter what kind of job it is, unless you're getting paid like $1 billion, and you're still like throwing a hissy fit. Just be nice to people who are doing their job, you know? There's no need to scream, no need to twist and shout. Like the song, Twisted Shout. Yeah, that was a reference and a half. Yeah, there's no need for any of that, man. I think that's why people like to make fun of Karens, or so-called Karens, more and more, right? Because it's typically those people, like those Karens, that make working a living nightmare. Because I feel like a lot of people could just do like a job without a care in the world. They'll just do it and generally be fine. But it's people like that. It feels weird to say it like that, but it is though. It's like it's problem customers, right? It's all about the problem customers. And it's like, when did we lose respect for each other is what I'm saying. Used to be... I'm talking about, like, as if I know this. As if I've lived through these times. But I feel like, based on what I've been told, used to be people had, like, respect for each other. Or at least it felt like that. You know? Like, what happened to the respect that people had for each other just for working a job in general? It's like that saying, like, telling the homeless bum, why don't you just get a job? Like, that used to be the case. Where you could say that. I feel like for a very brief, popular period, there was a time where you could literally just say that, and it would actually make sense, right? When you didn't need, like, all your credentials and get like somewhere to stay immediately. Stuff like that, right? Or just working a job would actually get you like all these benefits of what people should have already. Like, because that's the thing about homeless people. They can't just get a job. Because you don't get paid day to day. So where is he gonna sleep? Where is he gonna eat for like a day, or a week, or half a month? Depending on what the job, and what kind of person wants to hire a homeless person in the first place? It's like hiring an ex-convict. Nobody wants to do that. It's like, oh, you murdered someone? Well, then you're deemed an unredeemable person in my eyes, and that's enough for you to never ever get a job. It's like a credit score. You know what I hate? The credit score. Because it absolutely makes sense why we have it, but I also hate the fact that we have to have it. I'm not like dissing it, but I genuinely hate the fact that we have to like have a system like that, because it makes sense. Like, based on your previous claims or previous activity, we decide whether or not we could trust you with lending them money. It's just a system for people to, like, lend money to each other, right? He's like, whether or not you're trustworthy. But the way they go about it is, like, the dumbest way possible, I think. Like, ever since I was young, when I heard about the credit score, I got confused. Because I'm like, how do you judge anything based on anyone on their past activities? Like, what if you borrow like $5? That, like, the way you build credit score is that you buy stuff and then you immediately pay it off. Like, how does that build credit score? I never understood that. Like, how does that make me trustworthy in your eyes? Because I repeatedly do something that I should have been doing anyway. Pay the stuff that I... buy the stuff that I can afford and then pay it off immediately. Like, that's not me being, like, trustworthy with, like, credit or whatever. That's just me being a normal person paying for stuff that I could afford. And the like, you know? Like, unless you have some master plan where it's like, oh, if I max out this credit card and then do this and then do that, and I suddenly become a millionaire. You're not going to do that. You're not going to not pay off your credit card. And the reason why I hate that system is because people will not pay, some people won't pay off a credit card for some reason. Like, they'll just buy stuff that they can't afford, and then the credit company, like, feeds off of that by making them in debt, and then they can't get out of it because of something credit score. And that's another thing. It's like, oh, it's like making a bet, you know? But you only have one shot in your entire life. Having a credit score. Because let's say you want to own a shop. Well, you can't just buy a shop. Nobody has the money to just build a shop. So that's when borrowing money comes in. You borrow the money to make a shop, and then hopefully you can pay it off. Kind of like any debt, so to speak. But it's worth it, because if you come out of it with money, well, then you come out of it with money, like a heck of a lot of money, because you own a business and stuff now. And if it's successful, then that's a lot of money than what you would have been making. The risk is inherently worth it to some people. And I completely understand why. Because again, you should always strive to be better. Ah, shoot. There's no way I could have won that, I think. I was not fast enough. Nor did I pay attention enough. Oh, we leveled up though. 83. Shows how much I've played this game. Yeah, that's the thing. You only have like one shot in your life. Because if your credit score is ruined, do you know how hard it is to build that back up? That's the thing that I hate the most. You can ruin your credit score, and then it will take you like 10-something years to just build it back up, right? But by the time you build it back up with 10-something years, the reason why you probably failed in the first place, it's probably something like really detrimental, right? So let's say you build a shop and it fails, then all of a sudden your credit score is bad, and then you have to like declare bankruptcy, and then nobody wants to loan money to you anymore. Well, I guess I'll just never try again, because I literally can't. Unless there's like some loophole that I don't know about it. That's another thing I hate, like all this legal shenaniganery stuff, shenanigans, where you could, there's like some legal loophole that they don't publicly advertise, even though it should be like taught or advertised or something, right? Like a PSA would be helpful. Like, geez Louise. It's like it's like a 401k. You think people know about 401k off the bat? No, someone has to tell you about that stuff. And if your parents don't tell you, then who is going to tell you? And if nobody tells you, then I guess you just don't have a retirement plan because you didn't sign up for it. And please, for the love of God, don't call the people who don't know about any of this stuff like really dumb or something. Because instead of like telling them they're dumb, it's like, how do you not know this? You're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb. You yourself could just tell them. Don't be a absolute twat about being like, I know all about the legal stuff and you don't. Well, have you ever considered the thought as to why they don't know? Maybe they just didn't have anybody to tell them. Maybe they like had a hard time. So don't make fun of them, please. What I'm saying is, don't make fun of people who don't know how to like handle money, because nobody knows how to handle money right off the bat. Like nobody knows how to handle money right off the bat, right? Ah, shoot. You have to generally learn, and by learn I don't mean like the traditional sense of learn like practice and then like knowledge and all that stuff. I'm talking about you have to have the insider knowledge. You have to have the know. You have to have an in, so to speak, of somebody telling you this stuff. Because otherwise, then you're never gonna know. That's what we mean by learn. That's how people make money off of learning, like, handling money. That's how they earn money, off of handling money. The way to make money is to learn how to handle money, and then teach other people how to handle money. That's why we have, like, business school and stuff like that. Like businessmen and business schools and mentors when it comes to business. Let me mentor you in business. Let me teach you how to handle money by managing multiple accounts while, like, deducting the least amount of taxes while earning the most amount of, like, cash back on your taxes or whatever. I forget what it's called for some reason. You know, it's like, you should write that off as a business expense. You should write this off as a business expense. You should write this off as a business expense, even though probably it feels like you're taking advantage of the system. But if you don't, your business is gonna fail. That's what we mean when we say you gotta learn how to handle money. It isn't the act of earning money, saving money, and then spending money. It's the act of knowing where to put your money in the right place at the right time for long enough so you can just immediately earn $1 million throughout your retirement plan without having to do anything. That's the way to make money. And I see all the, like, misguided people not... Because that's what they are. People who don't know aren't dumb. They aren't dumb, alright? Never call someone dumb just because they don't know, like, this insider knowledge. That genuinely makes me mad if you call someone dumb. Yeah, if you call someone dumb for not knowing stuff like that. Because you realize, like, again, it's like, it almost feels like insider knowledge, you know? It's like a college, like, you know how you read about, like, certain college plans, and then you're like, oh, or like cell phone plans, or this plan or that plan, for, like package deals. For some reason, package deals are just not advertised well in anything. And unless you have somebody to tell you. Like, for example, the other day, my friends were talking about, like, whether or not they should switch phone companies, right? And again, I'm keeping this anonymous because it's live on the internet, so I don't know. Okay, like, friend A has, like, a bloody cell phone plan, and then friend B has a cell phone plan, and he's considering switching, so he's like, what kind of cell phone plan do you have? And then it turns out, like, friend A was paying way cheaper than friend B, and it's not like he's dumb, it's just, you know, he just didn't hear about it. That doesn't make you dumb, does it? No, of course not. It just means you just didn't see the advertisement, or see that, or see this. And just, for some reason, it feels like that kind of knowledge can be applied to, you know, like, any, like, actual money plan, like Roth IRAs, or 401ks, or, you know, offshore bank accounts, or whatever, I don't know. Like, anything, like, a college savings fund. People say, oh, I'm gonna save for children's college, but then they won't open a child's saving fund that's tax-free for the child, because they think it's just another account that you can just put your money in. They don't declare it as an actual, like, college fund, and then they get taxed for it. I know that, like, that happens, and it's not like they're dumb, it's just they didn't know about it, and nobody informed them. And then you have someone, like, that runs up to you and goes like, you're dumb for not knowing that. It's like, excuse me? How was I supposed to know that? How was I supposed to know that you have to press up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start? Yeah, the bloody Konami code. How was I supposed to know about the Konami code on Contra? You think you're bored knowing the Konami code? No, you gotta get your friend Steven to tell you about the Konami code. Or yeah, you gotta get your friend Steven to tell you the Konami code, because he's the only one who knows about it. And if he doesn't tell you, then I guess you won't get like 30 or 40 lives in Contra. And then you'll never beat Contra. Do you want that? Do you want to never beat Contra? I don't know. Anyway, it's been like about an hour. That's all I was planning to stream. it kind of went off the rails there at the end, but I feel like that made for good content. All right. Yeah, it was a chill stream anyway. We just talked. Nothing that excited. Usually, I don't want to say it's acting, but I try to get myself to a certain mindset if I'm trying to go for more actual entertainment. You know, today was not one of those mindsets where I was acting for entertainment. I say it's acting, but it's not. It's just me talking differently about different subjects. Because again, I could come up with any topic and talk about it. It's just whether or not what I'm saying makes sense. That's when I stutter and pause. Yeah. Anyway, what did we learn today? I'm trying to make like an ending thing, you know, like a ritualistic ending thing, unless like something really obvious happens and then I break it for the sake of a joke. I think I'm going to be like, oh, what did we learn today? Like a PBS show, you know, like a recap on like Dora. She goes to the camera and goes like, what was your favorite part of the episode? And then you're like. And then as a kid you would talk to the television, except I never did. Yeah, she would turn, pause for 5 seconds, and then they expect the kid to be like, I like the part where Boots put on his boots or something dumb like that. And then she's like, nice. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do that, but the equivalent to the ending of the stream. So I'm pretend I turn to you and I go, yeah, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna turn to the camera right now. Imagine I'm turning to the camera, except you don't see me. What was your favorite part of the stream today? That was mine too. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that should do it. All right. Bye-bye. See ya. Get out of here. Bye. Yep.